news updates on top accolade news. The headlines: Kenyan Lawmaker charged with forging academic certificates. ZAMBIA tightens control on WhatsApp groups in Zimbabwe. South Africa's National Treasury lifts embargo on budget documents after postponement. Zambia's removal of export duty tax on gemstones boosts industry growth. In politics, Kenyan lawmaker charged with forging academic certificates. A Kenyan lawmaker, Judge Kamburi, has been charged with forging academic certificates, according to the country's public prosecutor. The Member of Parliament for Juja constituency faces 6 charges, 3 for allegedly falsifying high school and university certificates, and 3 for presenting them as genuine. He has pleaded not guilty and was granted cash bail. Prosecutors claim he forged his high school certificates and 2 university course participation certificates, despite the legal requirement for parliamentary candidates to have completed high school. While cases of politicians using fake credentials are not uncommon in Kenya, successful prosecutions have been rare. Still in politics, ZANU-PF tightens control on WhatsApp groups in Zimbabwe. ZANU-PF has introduced a new social media policy that requires party leadership approval for all WhatsApp groups as it seeks to clamp down on growing dissent within its ranks. The move comes as opposition to President Emerson Mnangagwa's proposed 2-year term extension intensifies, with some members using social media platforms to voice their opposition. During a recent policy meeting, the party discussed regulating these platforms to curb anti-party messaging and ensure that only authorized administrators run official communication channels. ZANU-PF officials warned that unauthorized groups using the party's name could face legal action. Shifting focus to economy, South Africa's National Treasury lifts embargo on budget documents after postponement. South Africa's National Treasury has lifted the embargo on budget documents that were made available to select media and economists ahead of the originally scheduled budget release on 19 February 2025. However, Treasury officials have clarified that they will not be responding to queries or providing comments on the budget details at this stage. This follows the announcement by the Finance Minister, who confirmed that the 2025/2026 national budget, initially set to be tabled on February 19th, will now be presented on March 12th. President Cyril Ramaphosa reassured the nation that the Cabinet's ongoing discussions will focus on protecting vulnerable citizens and fostering economic growth. Still in economy, Zambia's removal of export duty tax on gemstones boosts industry growth. Zambia's recent decision to remove 15% export duty tax on gemstones has been welcomed by industry leaders as a much-needed boost for the sector. Experts call the move a timely intervention, noting that to support capital investment and growth, especially for small-scale miners. The policy shift, which comes as a part of broader efforts to revitalize the mining industry, is expected to attract investors, enhance global competitiveness, and generate more revenue, benefiting both large-scale miners and local traders. You are watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Stay with us. Moving on in the economy, UK Deputy Prime Minister commends Ethiopia's economic reforms. UK Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner has praised Ethiopia's ongoing economic transformation during a visit to the Ethiopian Securities Exchange in Addis Ababa. She lauded the opening of the markets and the country's broader economic reforms, reaffirming the UK's commitment to supporting Ethiopia's growth. The Minister of Finance echoed her sentiment, emphasizing the vital partnership between Ethiopia and the UK in driving economic progress. During her visit, Reina met with the Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and other key officials, further solidifying the ties between the two nations as Ethiopia seeks to deepen its reform agenda. Moving to conflict. United Nations warns of growing risk of regional war as M23 rebels advance in eastern Congo. Top United Nations officials have raised alarm over the escalating conflict in eastern Congo, warning that the offensive by M23 rebels is threatening to ignite a broader regional war. Speaking at an emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council, the United Nations Special Envoy for Congo urged the Council to take urgent action to prevent further escalation. The M23 rebels, who have seized key cities like Goma and Bukavu, are supported by Rwandan troops, and their advances have raised fears of a wider conflict involving Congo's neighbors. With the region's vast mineral wealth at stake and atrocities reported by both sides, the United Nations is calling for an immediate halt to the M23 offensive, the withdrawal of Rwandan troops, and the resumption of peace talks. The situation remains there, with the risk of a devastating regional war growing by the day. In entertainment, legendary Malian director dies at 84. Suleiman Cisse, the highly acclaimed Malian director, known as the pillar of African cinema, has passed away at the age of 84. Cisse, whose career spanned 5 decades, was celebrated for his commitment to African storytelling, political engagement, and deep humanism. His daughter confirmed his death on Wednesday, describing him as a man who dedicated his life to cinema and his country. Cisse's iconic film, Yelan, which won the jury's prize at the 1987 Cannes Film Festival, brought African cinema to the global stage. A passionate advocate for African film, he continued to push for greater recognition and distribution of African cinema even in his final days. Now in sports, Springboks line up exciting 2025 fixtures. As the Springboks prepare for their alignment camps this year, there are exciting updates for the fans. They may play a one-off fixture ahead of their incoming series, where they will face Italy in 2 tests in July, followed by Georgia. The team will also defend their rugby championship against Australia, New Zealand, and Argentina later in the year, before concluding with the end-of-the-year fixtures against Wales, France, Italy, and Ireland. With a mix of experienced players and newcomers, 2025 is shaping up to be an exciting year for South African rugby. That concludes our African news update for today. Stay tuned for more African news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojo Arumi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.